It looks like a $2 trillion bill. This is just the first part of it. There's going to be a part two as well. That's on top of the trillions that we spent on COVID. But he says he wants you all to come in there with your ideas. And what will those ideas be?
Good question, Martha. I'm glad to hear that the president is finally acknowledging that he wants to hear from Republicans, because as of yet, 70 days into his administration, we haven't heard from him. And infrastructure traditionally has been a bipartisan, concept. We've had Republicans and Democrats both who, in the past at least, have been inclined to support infrastructure as defined as roads and bridges and transportation and things like that. Their idea of infrastructure not only includes some of those things, but electric vehicles, healthcare, daycare, schools, housing. I mean, this is a massive, massive expansion of the federal government. And somebody on his staff has convinced him that he can be the next FDR, because this is a massive expansion paid for, at least in part, by huge tax increases on the economy, which would very much harm the economies we're trying to recover and get people back to work and get growth back. So we'll see what he has to say. But, obviously we have some interest in what we consider to be infrastructure. How they define infrastructure is certainly much, much broader.
But what does that mean, Senator? I mean, so when you go in there, what are you going to say? Will there be a Republican proposal that says, look, we're all for a $1 trillion package over 10 years that fixes the roads and bridges and builds new airports and maybe broadband and some of those other things that maybe have a decent argument for being in infrastructure? Are you going to present your plan to the president?
Well, of course we will. And we have, there has been bipartisan support for a highway bill, which is, we've had Senator Capito, who chairs that committee. Senator Brasso was involved in the last Congress on that issue, unanimously came out of the committee. There are a lot of things for which there's bipartisan support, and it will require some amount of spending. But they're talking about massive amounts of spending, most of it totally unrelated to transportation or infrastructure. In fact, 6% of this bill is truly infrastructure. The rest of it is the massive expansion of government, which the left has wanted. This is the Bernie Sanders wing of the Democrat Party, the socialist wing, that is the tail wagging the dog right now when it comes to their agenda.
So what's the political strategy? I mean, do you hold the line and say, look, this is your baby, go for it, you can pass this right now, but do you anticipate that this is going to be something that's a problem for them in 2022? Because they seem to be reading the tea leaves and the polls and saying, you know what, people like checks, people like all of these programs, and they like this expansion, and we're going all in.
Well, people like economic growth. They like better paying jobs, and the tax increases included in here are not going to accomplish that. And I think if you look at, there are Democrats on Capitol Hill, in my view at least, who are going to view this as way too much money and funding things that the government shouldn't be funding. There's a role for government. There's a role for the private economy. And I'm hoping that there will be some thoughtful Democrats who'd be willing to work with Republicans to reduce this in size and scope.
How many of them?
And hopefully dimensions.
How many of them is the question, right? I mean, is Joe Manchin going to be on board with this proposal?
This strikes me as a very radical, extreme proposal, and I would hope that Joe Manchin would be among other Democrats who would find this really hard to swallow.
Anyone else that you think will not be on board so far?
Well, I think if you're talking about the kind of debt, the kind of tax increases, maybe Kyrsten Sinema, there's probably a handful. They're not going to be vocal about it right now, but hopefully they will as time goes on.
All right, we'll be watching. Senator, thank you very much. Good to have you here.
Thanks, Mark.